Well, 5 till. I
Yeah,
thought we
we've been
would
doing
start
that.
at 4.
We start early
Oh, we do?
so we can get people to
we're
come
going.
on and
We're on.
tell us
Oh,
what we're drinking, and we're on right now.
okay.
Cheers! Welcome everybody.
Cheers.
We've arrived
We've arrived.
again.
I'd
That's
love to know
right.
what you're having.
What
for
are we
happy
having,
hour.
Kathy? Our huge.
We are having what we call our
Our
huge, which is cranberry juice. I did lemon juice because we're out of limes, bitters, Grand Marnier, and Edub bourbon, and it's tasty.
It's really good.
Cheers.
It's kind of like a Metropolitan.
It is called a Metropolitan, but we tweak it a little.
But
Because
we
it's
make it
supposed to
with-
be with
Tweak it-
vodka.
we make it with bourbon.
instead of
Instead of
vodka.
vodka.
For one thing.
Bourbon house.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
What are y'all drinking
Yeah.
tonight?
Tell us what you're drinking. Put it
Sunday
in the
fun day.
comments.
Yeah.
Sunday fun day.
Yeah.
Sunday fun day. Exactly. Beautiful day here in Central Oregon. What is it?
I know.
80 degrees.
Is it really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no way.
Oh, that's perfect.
I love
We had a
Finally.
fun weekend at the
it.
rodeo.
It was so fun.
I know. I'm wearing
Still have your...
my bolo. What is that? What they call them? Bolo ties.
Yeah. Exactly.
Look very Western.
Yes.
It's about
That's
as
right.
close as I get to a necktie. I mean, I
When
wore.
was the last time you wore a necktie?
Oh,
Gosh, really?
God, I don't even know. I can't remember. I mean, I stopped even wearing them in my practice.
I know.
For years.
And you wore cowboy boots, right?
Oh yeah, I wore. Oh, I don't
have
have my
sandals
boots
on
on
right
right
now.
now,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, they were more comfortable than even dress shoes and stuff.
I
So
love that. Scrubs with cowboy boots.
Ooh, yeah.
Sex-
Howdy, howdy.
You wear scrubs?
sexy.
Sexy.
Well, I
Sexy.
wore scrubs mostly because
Yeah,
I
'cause
was
you're
in
in surgery.
surgery
Yeah,
most
yeah.
of the day, and then I'd blast out between cases and talk to a patient or post-op, and then I just they turn the room over really quick. I'd go in and get my next surgery done. So I was back and forth. So
Yeah.
it wasn't until the very end of the day when I knew I wasn't going back into surgery that I would dress back into dress clothes, but
Dress clothes.
they included my nice boots and
Yeah.
wearing nice shirts and stuff. So
That's right.
anyway,
Mike and Shelly are here.
Oh,
They're
Mike and
some
Shelley.
nice ladies.
Mike and
I'm
Shelley.
going to see them in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They're going to be guests on our show.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
That'll be fun. We're going to have a studio audience.
That's right.
Right.
We have
Oh
a
my
studio
gosh.
audience today. Our
Our
brother
brother's
Pat
here.
is visiting. He's waving.
Yeah, he's the one holding the applause placard.
Hitting the can.
Oh
That's
my
right.
gosh.
That's right.
Woo and woo.
That's right.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So
Well,
we have
tonight's going to be really fun. Lee is going to read a chapter from his memoir, and it's titled "The One Who Got Away," and it's all
Yeah.
about the beautiful love story between Karla and Lee. And it's a really fun chapter. I think it's my favorite chapter in the whole book.
Yeah, I do
It's
too.
so fun.
I think it's my favorite too because it's fun and happy.
Yeah, it's
Not-
a happy chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not that becoming a quadriplegic can't be happy, but it has its downsides.
Yeah, downside.
And
Yeah.
and this story it's all upside,
Yes.
except for a 4-decade-long period that we'll describe.
Yeah.
I'll talk
right.
about it in this.
So I'm
thing,
going to have Lee do a little introduction about the memoir, and then we'll go right into reading the chapter on the one who got away.
Oh gosh,
Take it away, Lee.
I'm taking it away. Yeah, I'm basically reading a chapter every week from a memoir. And the memoir is, I never thought my life was really all that interesting until I broke my neck and became a quadriplegic. And then all of a sudden, things have unfolded over 6 years. And it's not like I just broke my neck and then I was a quadriplegic and then now I just sit around in a chair all the time.
Right.
It's been an evolution of procedures and various things dealing with caregivers, dealing with just rehabilitation and different surgeries, all sorts of stuff. Just
Pain.
it feels like I deal with pain and just
Sounds
side
weird,
effects
your-
of
life.
from meds and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And so, in talking to people along the way, almost everybody that I talked with over the last couple of years has been like, that's actually interesting, and it might be worth writing a book about it. And so I thought about it for a while, and I'm not a book writer. I'm not a writer at all. And so needed to find somebody who would help. They call them ghost writers or collaborators. And found somebody. I've been working with her in basically dredging up all of these memories, and they are all memories because I haven't been journaling
Right.
along the way, but I have lots of people that have chimed in and helped me remember
Yeah.
all the fun details. And
Yes.
a lot of this book, and the reason I'm writing it, is a lot of books having to do with this type of injury don't show you the gross underbelly of the life of a quad, which is, for the most part, kind of ugly. But what people see when they see people out and about,
Right.
you're cruising around in a chair, and it's like,
Cool
oh, that
chair.
looks like fun. Oh, that's a cool chair, and everything. But it's only really the tip of the iceberg when it comes to just life in this condition. And so
Yes.
I think it'll be an interesting book, and we're just doing chapter by chapter because now there's this thing called social media that is so prevalent that even book publishers, they expect there to be a presence on social media, a little bit of a buzz about a book before they even contemplate helping get it published, and that sort of thing.
It's a changed world.
Yeah.
That's for
Publishing.
sure.
So
So
that's
here
kind
we
of
are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we are live every Sunday.
I
Trying to
know.
promote.
We could be out
fun.
running around outside in the nice weather.
Right, Lee?
Yeah, I
Sure,
could be
we out running
out there
around.
running around.
walking around, running around, whatever.
Rolling around.
Rolling around.
Just rolling through life. So anyway, I can start.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can start the chapter now.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Want to sip?
So this whole thing, I'll take
Milk gets dry.
So this whole story starts a long time ago, probably longer than most of you people have been alive.
Through that.
So anyway, the one that got away. This is the sort of the working chapter, and what I'm reading is kind of a manuscript. It's not the exact thing that's going in the book, but we're fleshing out all these chapters, and it's easier to do once you've read something out loud as opposed to just typing it or transcribing it and that sort of thing. When you actually go back and read it, it either sounds really dumb, and then you have to, doctor it up to make it sound reasonable. And if you don't read it out loud, a lot of times it doesn't register. So this
And by
is
the way, you can ask questions. As
oh
we're
gosh,
doing this,
the
please
whole
put
way.
questions in the comments if you have questions that come up, and we will answer them after.
He's
Right.
an open book.
He's my,
I am an open book.
he's an open book.
Uh,
Yes.
Is that a pun or what is that?
That was good.
That was good.
This is Avery, our producer back here behind the camera.
That's
So
right.
she'll read the questions that people might type in there. So anyway, in 1979, during Lee's senior year at Oregon State University, he met Karla Kerwin. Karla frequently made the hour-and-a-half drive from Portland down to Corvallis to visit her identical twin sister, Kathy, who was friends with one of my fraternity brothers, John. It was during one of those visits that John introduced Karla to Lee. They immediately found reason to see each other every weekend or two, campus events, parties, dinners with friends. And one of those weekends involved a Pablo Cruz concert. That was a group like way back. Nobody even knows who they are anymore. Because the show would end late, he arranged for Karla, asked her to spend the night, telling his two roommates they would need to find other accommodations. That afternoon, he stopped at the local pharmacy and bought a few condoms just in case. So when Karla arrived, got out of the car from her friend, she was carrying a small duffel bag in one hand and a rolled up sleeping bag in the other. Quote, a sleeping bag, for God's sake, Lee laughed. I still don't believe it. It's crazy. The rest of the evening unfolded in typical college fashion. Spending time with friends, sharing drinks, stretching out the night for as long as possible. Yet beneath that easy camaraderie was an undeniable attraction between Lee and Karla. He found himself drawn to her in a way that felt exciting, though he was careful not to push things too far. Karla was equally cautious. She was seeing someone back in Portland and, having strong religious convictions at the time, was a little bit unsettled by how quickly he made her question the path she thought she was on. Neither of them knew what to make of the connection they were developing, only that it was impossible to ignore. As the evening wore on, they spent hours kissing and talking and enjoying each other's company. The evening turned into early morning hours, and eventually Karla crawled into her sleeping bag on the pull-out sofa. They both drifted off to sleep, kind of wondering what might have happened under different circumstances. The next day, they drove together to Portland, and he brought Karla to his parents' house, where his mother had been collecting responses from the medical schools that he had applied to months earlier. Waiting for him was a stack of acceptance letters. The moment felt surreal to Lee. Medical school had been the goal for years, and despite his strong grades, acceptance was never a certainty. For the first time, he could see the path ahead beginning to take shape. After several hours, he dropped Karla off at her home across town. The goodbye felt unremarkable at the time. It was a kiss, promise to stay in touch, and then they went their separate ways. Life moved quickly after that. For Lee, the next few weeks became a blur as he prepared for medical school, turned his attention towards the future. As the summer came to an end, he realized he hadn't heard from Karla in some time. Years later, he still couldn't explain exactly how they lost touch. He thought about her often, but somewhere between the excitement of starting medical school and the demands of a new chapter in life, the weeks slipped by. School, he reached out through his friend John to see how Karla was doing. The news caught him by surprise, to say the least. She had married her high school boyfriend and recently given birth to a son. Just like that, whatever might have been between them was over before it really had ever begun. Life had just carried them in different directions. Karla became the one that got away. Over the years, he occasionally found himself wondering what might have happened if the timing had been different. And for the next 4 decades, 40 years, he and Karla would occasionally run into each other in Portland. At restaurants, stores, gatherings of mutual friends. And at one point, Lee even found himself removing a skin cancer from her face in his office surgery. Those chance encounters were enough to bring old feelings back to the surface. He would find himself thinking about that weekend long ago and the possibilities that never had the chance to unfold. Many years later, Karla admitted that she had been carrying some of the same thoughts. Years passed while their respective marriages continued and their lives evolved. That is, until Karla's husband experienced a challenge that closely paralleled one that Lee had faced years earlier. He had developed what's called an essential tremor and was forced to sell his dental practice, step away from a profession that had defined much of his adult life. Lee understood that loss all too well, because 10 years before the spinal cord injury, he had undergone surgery for spinal stenosis to relieve a nerve compression in his neck. That procedure reduced the pain that had produced, but it failed to restore sensation in 2 fingers in his right hand. After MRI scans, second opinions, multiple steroid injections, he came to a difficult realization. This numbness in his hand was not going away. And for a facial plastic surgeon, even a small loss of sensation carries enormous consequences. Continuing to operate would have meant accepting risks that he really was unwilling to impose on his patients. There were also growing concerns about the possible liability and the practical realities of maintaining a surgical practice. So instead of retiring on his own terms at age 55 that he had planned to do, he had to make the painful decision to sell his practice that he'd spent 24 years in. He then had to also go on disability. Years later, Karla's husband found himself confronting many of those same challenges. Coincidentally, her husband knew John, who was my fraternity brother, who had first introduced us 3 decades earlier. Knowing the similarities in their circumstances, John asked Lee if he would be willing to reach out to him. In an unexpected way, it was the first time Lee's and Karla's lives had actually meaningfully intersected in years. Karla and her husband spent much of their time at that time in their lives in Sun River, Oregon, while Lee lived in Black Butte Ranch, which is actually only an hour away. He reached out to her husband, and the two met for coffee in Bend. The town was actually halfway in between. Lee walked him through the emotional freefall that can accompany disability and forced retirement. The quiet panic, the inevitable depression, and the slow, uneven process of rebuilding a life after losing a career that had long defined him. Before long, one of them suggested that the two couples meet for dinner. Karla and her husband joined Lee and Valerie in Bend along with Kathy, and they started with drinks at a bar known for their margaritas, and before walking a few blocks to another restaurant for dinner. At one point, Lee and Karla had drifted and walked ahead of the others, walking side by side, yabbering, yes. The familiar connection between them just briefly resurfaced. For an instant, each wondered what it might feel like to touch or take the other one's hand for a second. Neither acted on the impulse, and the moment quietly slipped away. Quote, that would have opened a can of worms, to say the least, Lee later reminisced. After that evening, years passed without contact. Both returned to their own lives. Whatever feelings had lingered remained unspoken. Quote, life moved on, Lee said. We didn't have any contact during that time. We were living our separate lives. As the years passed, Karla's life took a different direction, and her marriage eventually came to an end. Fast forward a number of years to October of 2020. That was about 8 months after my injury.
Yeah.
The Kerwin siblings, Karla, Kathy, their sister, Colleen, and their brother, Pat, were spending a week together in Sun River. And one evening, Karla was scrolling through her Facebook page when she saw a post from Valerie indicating that her marriage to Lee had, quote, not survived the tragedy. It had apparently been intended as a private message, but was posted accidentally publicly instead. Quote, oops, Kathy would later say. Karla didn't waste any time. She immediately texted Lee, quote, I saw on Facebook that your marriage didn't survive the tragedy. I'd love to see you. I know you're either in Craig Hospital doing some rehab or at your home in Black Butte. I'm at my Sun River house. I'll come and see you anywhere. Lee was in his garage working through the daily grind of physical therapy when the text appeared. He didn't recognize the number. It was a random one. The thought was perhaps it was just an errant message from someone that he didn't know, so initially he ignored it. Days passed. When he finally revisited the unread text, he realized it was unsigned. He was confused. Who would have known those details about his life? And who would care enough to even come anywhere to see him? Meanwhile, Karla interpreted the silence as indifference. Kathy quoted, I remember being out on our deck. Our brother Pat, who is fiercely protective of his sisters, told Karla, quote, it's okay, sis. It's just not meant to be. Eventually, though, curiosity overtook the uncertainty, and Lee dialed the number. The moment he heard her voice, recognition flooded back. She said, it's me, Karla, Kathy later recounted, and Lee said, KK, is that you? Several days later, Karla drove an hour to see him. When she arrived, she looked past the power chair and the visible reminders of everything that had changed. All she saw was Lee. It was as if 4 decades had just collapsed into a single afternoon. They spent hours talking and reminiscing about the years that had passed. When she finally left, she turned and gave him a quick kiss goodbye. Lee immediately turned to his caregiver with a grin, quote, game on. From that point forward, they spoke or texted nearly every day until November. Despite the disruption of COVID that year, the Robinson family had hosted Thanksgiving and invited Karla to come. This was the first time his family had met her. They had never heard anything about Karla until this occasion. Being protective siblings themselves, they wondered how and where she appeared from. Quote, "It didn't take long for them to see why I was so infatuated with her," said Lee. "The long holiday weekend gave everyone an opportunity to get to know one another and ease the concerns that his siblings had initially had. By the time Karla left, they understood why she'd become such an important part of Lee's life over the last month or two. She returned to California for Christmas with Kathy, where they were living. But Lee and Karla continued talking every day. Calls, texts, conversations that often stretched late into the night. They spent a lot of time exchanging songs, discovering music the other hadn't heard, and sharing old favorites became just one more thing that they connected over. After the new year, Karla made plans to return back to Oregon. Lee asked how long she intended to stay, and to his surprise, she replied, quote, "I bought a one-way ticket."
I'm moving in.
Another big smile appeared for the first time in a long while. Lee could feel that something had just been shifting. The depression and anxiety that had followed him since his injury and was getting deeper and deeper had no longer seemed quite so heavy. For much of the previous year, Lee's path had narrowed down beyond recognition. The future he had envisioned for himself no longer looked black the way he once had expected. But life has a way of taking unexpected turns. For 40 years, Karla had been the one that got away. Now, the story he thought had ended before it really began was beginning again.
That's right.
And that's it for that chapter.
That's right.
And the rest is history,
Exactly.
so to
We're
speak.
still writing it.
Yeah,
We're still writing
Writing
it.
it,
That's
and
right.
the funnest chapter, actually, of this book, to be honest. It's not the exact chapter that's going to be in the book, but that's a framework of it. And it's still a little bit of a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's fun.
so
Every time
is,
we talk about it, we
I
just
know,
laugh.
but
Right.
so is the relationship. Everything's a
Yeah,
work in progress.
totally.
Life's a work in progress.
Yes, it
We
is.
did have one comment while you were reading, and it's for the girls. It says, "As a twin mama, y'all are adorable. I know you gave your mama hell."
Brother, be quiet over there.
Right.
God,
Oh my
they're
gosh, from my
Nothing to say.
they're giving me hell,
Uh,
but I put up with
it's a
it.
special
I know.
relationship for
It is.
sure.
It is. Very lucky.
So how long have you guys been together now?
Well, 2020 was my injury, and it was later that year, 8 months later, when we reconnected. So it's basically been 6 years.
I know.
But
Time flies.
yeah, but if you add 42 to that, it's 48, almost 50 now.
Starts adding up.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, they do add up. It seems weird because I still kind of feel like I'm still in college. Don't you
Sure
guys?
act like it's sometimes.
Well,
Last night.
God, oh my, I went to the rodeo last night and
And then to hardtails.
and then to Hardtail's dive bar and had a couple drinks, danced. God, we got up and
Karla and
I
Lee
mean,
danced.
yeah, we
Right.
danced. It
This
it
year.
looks a little different than like actual dancing when you're in a chair, but
It's okay.
yeah, we make
We
do.
have fun.
We MacGyver a way to
That's right.
get her done.
Exactly.
Yeah. Any other questions coming in?
Yeah.
Oh, she's nodding. Yes.
Karla, did you step into this relationship knowing that you would like do anything for Lee, or
Yeah, I kind of figured that I would, just because right at the beginning I found what his day was like. And I'm a retired hygienist, so at least I have somewhat of a medical background, so things don't bother me. Whereas Kathy, if she had to do some of the stuff, she'd want away. Get me some help.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, I love this man so much, so I was willing to do whatever it took for us to be together.
For sure.
Back then, how about now?
She still feel the same way.
Okay. Like to hear that.
That's right.
And Kathy, did you think that they would be together for longer when they were younger?
Yes.
Oh,
Back
yeah.
in-
Back
well,
in the
she-
day,
Back in the day, I thought they were definitely
And
going to
them.
get married, and
I
yeah. So I was sad when it all fell apart. Yeah, because they went out for how many months
we don't.
Not
did you
that
guys
many.
go out before?
Again, I didn't
that many.
journal anything back then. And I didn't have a diary or anything like that. But it was 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
that-
isn't that long.
No, it's not that long, but
Enough to
It's-
develop strong feelings.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember where we were there at the Dell House. It's my fraternity when I met you, because I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea what you looked like. I had no idea. You know, I knew you were a twin sister, but twins don't look identical. Because Kathy and I knew each other in college,
Right.
and
Yeah.
had a lot of
Mutual.
mutual friends.
Yeah.
And our sorority house, fraternity house was only a block away from each other,
Yeah.
something like that. So, yeah.
TK says, I love this for you too. Here's to many more happy times.
Aw, thank you.
Oh, PK.
PK or TK?
P-
TK.
TK.
Cal Cagno.
Oh, Terry.
Terry.
Yeah, we went
Ter-
to high school with her.
Hi,
Oh,
Terry.
really?
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Well,
Sweet.
well, we're
Thank you.
we're,
No, that's okay.
we're,
We know who it
we're
is.
working at it.
Aw,
Right.
love it.
During your story, you said something about an essential tumor.
Tremor.
Tremor.
Yeah, it's a neurologic condition that occurs in patients occasionally, and what it is it's a minor shaking, like a tiny little twitches in your hands when you're trying to do something.
Right.
And so, obviously, her ex-husband, he was in a pretty much a cosmetic dental practice where you need preciseness, because even minuscule fractions of millimeters make a big difference. So if that comes on and you can't really get control of it, because there's really no meds that actually, tamp it down, take a pill in the morning and your tremor goes away and then it comes back when you at night. It just doesn't work like that. So that's essentially what it is. His eventually he developed Parkinson's, and I'm not sure. I don't think that the two are actually, one develops necessarily into the other, but
Right.
yeah, it's just a nerve injury. Nerve injuries or nerve problems they're a major problem, especially if you're using your hands
For your job.
for the
career.
delicate work.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that's what that is.
Mark E. Stump said, I'm glad I found y'all's channel. I enjoy watching.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, y'all,
you.
sounds like Texas,
From Texas.
where I trained for
you.
4 years.
And got
Yeah.
that accent
You
Well,
did.
back then.
It comes back,
Yeah, that's so funny.
but it goes away as soon as you step over the Texas state line.
Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana,
Oh.
pretty close. I love it.
Still hot as
Hot. Hotter than hell down there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's
God,
funny.
how about humid? Ugh.
Ugh. No, thank you.
So did I hear this right? That you and Karla's ex-husband both had the same condition?
Well, we both had to sell our practices and get out because his was a tremor. Mine was different. I had inherited a condition called spinal stenosis, and it doesn't cause tremors or twitching or anything like that, but it basically is a condition where bone spurs and excessive calcium and bone deposit around the spine area will close off or pinch down one or multiple nerve roots, the nerves that come out of the spinal cord and eventually go out into the extremities and that sort of thing. And it's painful and it can cause permanent damage. I came down with that and had surgery for it. And the surgery was very successful, but the pain that I was having was essentially gone. But these two fingers were left with numbness in them. And, you know, after basically 30 years of operating, I was able to continue to operate. I had to be a little bit careful when I was picking up instruments and that type of thing. But I found out after talking to the doctor's company, which carried my malpractice insurance, that if you have a condition, any condition, where it could possibly affect an outcome or something, and you don't tell a patient that you have it, then the underwriter is not going to cover you. So it makes it so you would basically have no malpractice insurance if you're operating on somebody and something happened. Now, luckily, I never got sued ever, and I wasn't expecting that this thing would cause me to do something like that. But it was eye-opening, realizing that I basically now had to tell every patient that came in here, yes, you came in to see me, I had a pretty good reputation, and by the way, in my dominant hand, my two fingers, I can't feel them. So the bottom line is that you can't have a surgical practice doing that because you won't have any patients. And you can't not tell them and then just have a surgical practice without malpractice insurance.
Right.
So I had to sell my practice too, and that was years before her husband at the time, developed his thing. But having John, who was a fraternity brother of mine, lived for a year. They were mutual, friends, and so he knew that I'd gone through that, and I had a tough time. That being a plastic surgeon wasn't my whole identity, but you work your butt off for years to train to do it, and you really like it. And I had a good practice, and so I was severely depressed on antidepressants and seeing psychiatrists and all this sort of thing. And poor Buck, he was kind of going down that rabbit hole. So it was good to talk. I think I'd like to feel like I helped him get through and just reconcile some of the feelings that you have, and that he's not alone, and it gets better. People always say, "Oh, you'll get over it," but when you're in the foxhole, and it just seems like life is just pounding you down. When people just give you that, "Oh, don't worry, relax, it'll get better," and blah blah blah, it just doesn't register. But when you talk to somebody who's actually, has gone through it and actually come out the other end fairly whole, it definitely helps. So that's where that all started and ended. So yeah.
Karla, we have a question. Did you really bring a sleeping bag?
I did. At the time, I was going through a religious stage in my life, and I was seeing somebody, my high school sweetheart, and I just thought, well, I shouldn't be with somebody else if I'm still with Jeff, and I hadn't broke up with him, and then our relationship kind of went like that anyway, so I ended up staying with the high school sweetheart, and I got married, and had a baby, and
Yeah.
that was that.
And she actually,
yes, I
I
did.
mean, it was pretty much the first thing I saw when she got out of the car.
The sleeping bag of
Well,
abstinence.
yeah, that sleeping bag, and then, she also had a little duffel bag or backpack or something like that. And she was cute as a bug's ear. So, and the concert was there at Oregon State, and it was we'd been off and oning, for months, and I sort of
We should
well,
be to that next
yeah, but
stage.
I was weirdly obsessed with you because for almost a year and a half, I didn't have really a girlfriend in college. I had had a high school sweetheart for much of college, but then we had broken up, and I was just, I don't know, I was just busy having fun and just, I'd already, it was in the last few months of school where all this happened, and no, it was fun. It was, I have very fond memories of those times. But
Me too.
yeah, we had a great time, but it wasn't. Nowadays,
too.
people get together, and it seems like they're just, jumping in the sack within one date or something like that. And our relationship wasn't that way. I mean, it's like I became infatuated, and I was afraid to push. I was afraid I was going to push her away if I was like going to act on feelings like, oh man, this is going to be good. And it just wasn't the way I rolled, and
Not how you roll now either.
I roll. I do roll.
You do roll.
I'm on a roll.
You said you were like a plastic or facial plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
What kind of surgeries did you do?
When I first started, I did insurance and trauma, and that sort of thing. Basically, on everything from the neck up. My goal with my practice was to do all cosmetic work, which essentially for facial plastic surgeons, those are like nose jobs, call them rhinoplasty, facelift, brow lift, where we get to, raise the brow up when it gets all saggy. Eyelid surgery, those are called blepharoplasties. We take excess skin out of the upper lid when it gets all droopy. And, people get these big bags and stuff under their eyes, and you can take care of those. Also did a fair amount of peels, laser peels for wrinkles, as well as some intense light therapies that are very popular now to take care of hyperpigmentation, blotchy, sun damage, sun freckling, and that sort of thing.
And then I reached out to him because I knew he was a plastic surgeon, and I had to have a skin cancer thing removed, and I was so nervous because it was on my face. So I thought, I'm just going to reach out to Lee. Plus, it was just an excuse to see him because, again, we kind of had feelings for each other throughout the years, and we never acted on them. But
no, we weren't. It hopefully doesn't sound like we were just like every night just going, God, are we looking at the same moon and that type of thing? I don't know. God, it wasn't like that at all. No, but every once in a while, we live in Portland. In Portland, I mean, it's a big city, but we sort of ran in the same circles, you
Yeah.
know, of professionals and going just, we ended up at restaurants and just things like that. And, you know, when you've dated somebody and had intense feelings about somebody, and then you see them again, it's not,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, nothing bad happens when you see somebody. It's usually like, no, well, you just like, I don't know, it just reminds you of the times that
Yeah.
happened way back in the day. And we were each, you know, happily married and had our kids and, you know, lives and our professions and all, you know, all that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was fun.
Now here we are.
Yep.
Here we are. Never been happier.
So you say, I've heard you say that multiple times, and it's kind of hard to believe. I mean, I don't know. Taking care of a quad is not easy at all.
Oh, we have lots of help.
Yeah, we do have lots of help, but still.
And it's interesting because a lot of my friends at the time, because I was in California when Karla moved up here, they're like, wait, what? She reconnected with someone who's a quadriplegic, and she went into the relationship knowing he was a quadriplegic, not that they were
happened after
together
they got
before.
together.
Like,
Yeah.
That's right.
That it was post-accident, and people were surprised. God
Until
bless
they
her
meet him.
because
Oh.
because you just think, how can you take something like that on? That's a big thing to take on, and then when you meet him, it's like, oh, okay, I get it.
Oh, well.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But
That's
also,
interesting.
yes, okay, you see this person in a wheelchair, and I think,
You just,
I don't know, you can speak probably to this more accurately, but when people first see you, they normally, they see you just kind of cruising around in a chair, and since I look fairly normal,
Right.
I don't look like I'm in intense amount of pain. And I look like I could just get up and walk into the kitchen and back.
Right.
exactly.
I'm sure it was an eye-opening experience spending time here after we reconnected, especially that long Thanksgiving weekend,
Right.
and going, oh, boy, this is going to be a commitment.
Yeah.
But only you can, you know,
Yeah.
you can talk about that and what you felt when you first came in here.
Right.
I
I
mean,
just saw my Lee man.
well,
I call him my Lee man. He calls me KK.
that was,
But I did when I saw him. I thought, oh my gosh, Lee! And it was just instant for me
Yeah.
that we got to see each other and be
Right.
together.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
Yeah, just
And then I
That's
came over
great.
the next day after they got together that first time. Karla and I came over together the next day, and
we spent
it was
hours
so great.
That's
So
just
fun.
talking.
Just like old times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Exactly.
really fun. I thought, oh, I get it.
yeah.
We're finally back together.
All right. Took you long enough.
Oh my
Totally.
gosh.
well,
Totally.
some people are just slow on the uptake. Take me 45 years to get it right. Well, I won't say get it right, but it's been a blessing for me, and you'll see as this book unravels. Well, not unravels in a bad way, but as the chapters go along, and you start to realize what is involved with being a quadriplegic, especially if, I mean, you don't have any loved ones.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the caregivers are amazing, amazing people, and I've gotten really close, and you'll hear that in the book too. But they're not family, you know. They're not loved ones, and
Right.
that there's just something different.
Totally different. Yeah.
What's that song, George Strait? One of the lines: "You can't have it all by
All by
yourself."
yourself.
And
Right.
it's really true, and you don't. Hopefully,
There.
you people out there don't need to or have to go through that part of a life
Without
and then come to that realization that, yeah, this really does suck to be by yourself. Even though you're with people, if you're not with
Get what you're saying.
a strong family or a close family, it just doesn't work. And so I don't know, just to have her back. And actually, I got her too, sort of. I mean, you know, twins are very close. And so, I get it. I don't,
I love.
you know, it might bother another guy if he were to like marry or get a really close relationship with one, knowing that they're so close. They do so many things together. They talk alike. They look alike. What was that Patty Duke show? Patty Duke show. Anyway,
Identical.
though those are identical cousins.
Cousins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, or she was identical cousin to herself on that show.
Yeah.
That's right.
But yeah, it's definitely a different relationship, but it's fun. We get along real well.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of fun.
And our families get along real well too.
Yes, which is very nice.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, we don't have those weird dysfunctional families where, you know, they have the really weird uncle that can't be invited, or
exactly.
the aunt that won't talk to the mom because one said
Oh my
something
God. Yeah.
10 years
They
ago.
can't remember what it was about, and they haven't spoken in
And they haven't
years.
spoken. You know, it's just,
Thank goodness.
it's
I
just
can't
none of
Very
that.
lucky.
No, we
Both
all
families.
have amazing families.
Yeah.
I mean, close, and
That's right.
we all like each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Actually like each other.
Yeah, we actually do.
Yeah.
Love it. Anything
All right.
else? I think that's it.
Yeah.
All righty.
Thank you,
Well, that was
everybody.
fun. Thank
That
you
was
for
fun.
joining
Thanks for
us.
joining us.
Join us
And
again.
we'll be back next
Next week.
Sunday, same time, same
Same
bat
station.
channel.
Yes.
Questions?
All
And
right.
thanks for the questions.
thank
You bet. Bye bye.
Bye.